Hello everyone, and thank you for joining us this morning on Tuesday the 30th of June 2020 on Vision Australia's Check-in and Chat session on latest adaptive technology discussed by HumanWare, who are developers of blindness and low vision products. My name is Tony Wu and I'll be your host, and I'm joined by Natalie Riom and Peter Tusik from HumanWare as our expert guest speakers. Before we begin, I'd like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today. I'd like to pay my respects to elders past, present, and emerging. Please note that the session is being recorded for those that cannot attend for the entire session, and you can access the recording later via our webpage on www.visionaustralia.org/check-in and chat. This is an interactive session like all others, so please submit any questions that you may have to Natalie and Peter throughout the session by using our chat box. For those that use a screen reader, you can access the chat box by using the keystroke Alt-H. We'll endeavour to answer as many questions as we can and as many as time permits. So welcome, Natalie and Peter, to this Check-in and Chat webinar. If you could just briefly describe your role at HumanWare and where you're based.
Can do. So how's it going, Tony? Thank you very much for the opportunity. It's great to be here. My name, as you said, is Peter Tusik. I'm actually based in Chicago, so it is a warm and very humid summer evening of thunderstorms here in Chicago. My role at HumanWare, I am the brand ambassador of blindness products, and it's a very odd title. Definitely took a little while to grow on me when I came into it, but really what I do is I work with the product managers in terms of our blindness products and also in education. So I take the role of a product specialist, doing lots of trainings and traveling on a weekly basis. I do about 40-ish weeks a year on the road, and working with all of our Braille products, so the Braille note takers, the Victor Reader products as well, the Victor Reader Trek, and then also, doing a lot of kind of document creation, videos, all that, kind of resource material as well as working with our Braille and Victor Reader product managers with helping be their eyes and ears here in the States and in different parts of the field. So kind of an all-encompassing sort of role, but that's who I am and that's where I am.
Sounds great, Peter. Thank you. And Natalie?
Yes, my name is Natalie Riom. I am the product manager for low vision product at HumanWare. I am based in Montreal, Canada, so it's the summer for me too, and in the evening. In my job, I am acting as the representative of our customers at HumanWare when it comes to product development. I look at the new technologies. I see how we could use it to help users. I also help our sales team around the world. I've been with HumanWare only for the past 6 months, but I've been knowing HumanWare for quite a while. I was involved in the blindness and low vision community for a few years, mainly because I have a teenager daughter who's legally blind. So my family and I have been very interested in visual aid equipments, and my daughter wants to do whatever she wants, so we help her using all of those tools. So thank you for the invitation, Tony.
No worries, and that sounds like a very interesting job that you have, Natalie, as well as you, Peter. So we've noticed that you've released the Buddy app a couple of months ago, and if you could tell us a bit more about the Buddy app and how some can use it to train themselves or use it to troubleshoot their units.
Sure. So it's been very neat. We're not the first, but one of the first in the space to have our own support application. So HW Buddy is the name of the app, and it is available for iOS and for Android. So it's available on your iPhones, your iPads, as well as on your Android devices. And really what we were looking at doing, the constant theme that we hear is it's very difficult for a teacher, for a user, for a trainer to really find information, right? How do I spell check a document on my Braille Note Touch Plus? Or what is the battery life on my Explore 5 handheld magnifier, right? And a lot of times we can find that information by sifting through a website or sifting through an owner manual or digging up some FAQs, but we wanted to put it all in someone's pocket. So the HW Buddy application allows for a user or a trainer to come in and really access those different sections. So the first section being the videos area. So all of our webinars, all of these snapshot tutorial videos that myself and our product manager, Andrew, and others have made on the Braille products are there, as well as any webinars and tutorials we do. There's also a how-to section, which is broken up by product. So we not only, are we able to bring those how-to guides in, but they're actually broken up by the product you may be using. So it's the products that we currently are currently supporting. So for instance, if I look at Braille Note Touch Plus, I'm then broken up into 8, 9, 10 different categories. Maybe I want to look at the word processor or the planner or email. And once I select one of those, then it's down to task specific. So saving a document, spell checking, and so on. So really there are text instructions. Ultimately, each one of those text instruction sort of areas would be linked to a user video or an audio tutorial. But it really is a way for us to provide information in your pocket and to give you access to resources on demand. The other piece of that is you can save information, so you can favorite something, one of those documents if you would like to come back for future use, and you can mark it as complete. So if you're working with a student, you can kind of one by one, go through all of those documents and mark them as completed. And the recent update we did about a week ago brought in the ability to push notifications to the application. So if there is an update to the documentation, if we release a software update, if we have an important webinar or something, we can focus that and push the notifications to you. We don't want to be overbearing though, so we're not going to throw them up every morning. We're going to try to do them once every couple of weeks. Should you want notifications, we do have the ability to push those to the app now. So really it's a way to put all of our support in one space.
That sounds great. If you have any HumanWare products, you'll be able to access all these resources and all this training material, whether it's an audio or a video. It sounds really great, Peter.
Absolutely, it's awesome.
Definitely. How do Braille devices give one more access to education or employment, in your opinion?
Well, I love these questions because they're interesting because there are many ways to kind of come at the answer. And I think what we do at HumanWare is we are very much a Braille-centric company. I am totally blind. I have used Braille devices and auditory devices and screen readers and all of that I'm 31 years old, so I've used everything for about 28 years. And with Braille, what we find the most important piece of the puzzle is we need, as blind people, to be able to read the world around us. We know that auditory is fantastic. I am an iPhone user and I use screen readers all day, but what Braille does is it gives me the ability to read the world around me, to read the spellings of places, names, all of that, and just to get that written communication level to where it needs to be. And a lot of times we have very good auditory communication, right? Our verbal communication skills are fantastic, but our written communication can suffer. What we're trying to do is not only have a Braille-centric approach, but it also comes down to creating products that will blend mainstream and assistive technology into one device. So to take that a step further, it's about accessing the world around you in your connected workplace, in your connected classroom, and doing so in a mainstream way. So bringing in that application to browse the web, or to check your email, or to listen to music, or complete a school assignment in a Braille-first way. And that's really what we strive for when it comes to the Braille products. And we want to really promote the developing of good written communication skills. And we know that Braille will get us there. So really it's a kind of a long-winded answer, but our main goal is definitely that. And that's why we put such a heavy focus on Braille.
Oh, that sounds great, Peter. I have a question from Brian, one of our audience. How does one access the HumanWare Buddy app? Can you just remind us again, Peter?
Absolutely. So the HumanWare Buddy, it's called HW. So HW is in HumanWare, HW Buddy, and that application is free, and it's an Android and an iOS application. So you would go to either the Play Store, the Google Play Store on your Android device, or the App Store on your iOS device, so your iPod Touch or your iPad or your iPhone.
Great, thank you, Peter. I'm excited to hear that you have a couple of new Braille devices that you're going to launch very soon. And I know that one of them is called the Mantis Q40. Can you please tell us a little bit more about it?
Absolutely, it's very exciting. You know, I've talked about that Braille literacy piece being extremely important, and the other thing that I stress is good QWERTY, good keyboarding skills for those of us who are totally blind. Oftentimes we learn on a Perkins Brailler or you know, some sort of a Braille keyboard, Braille input device, and that's fantastic, but sometimes we lack the ability to develop good typing skills. So what we have done is, in conjunction here in the States with the American Printing House for the Blind, we've built a full QWERTY keyboard that is working with multiple devices simultaneously, so you can use it with your iOS or Android or PC, right, devices. But what it will do is it will allow you to have onboard Braille. So there is a 40-cell Braille display on the device, but it is a full QWERTY keyboard as well. It also has internal note-taking capability, so it will have the ability to work with DOCX, you know, BRF, so Braille formatted documents, has that internal note-taking capability, as well as the full QWERTY keyboard that you can use with a screen reader. So you're using that with JAWS or with NVDA or whatever your preferred screen reader may be, with Braille output all in one device. So it's the first, you know, of its kind, and it's very, very, very neat. We've had some very positive feedback, and I know we're in the process of getting that, you know, getting that product out to all of our friends in Australia at some point in the near future. I'm not one for dates, Tony, so don't ask for dates. I don't get too specific, but
No worries.
definitely it is very close. So we're really excited about the Mantis Q40, just in the type of tool that it is, in promoting Braille literacy and also promoting good keyboard, you know, QWERTY input typing.
Excellent. Can't wait to get my hands on that particular product.
Very cool.
Are you able to advise some of the pros and cons of a Braille display versus a Braille note taker?
Oh, this is another one of my favorite questions. So it comes up a lot, and it's a fantastic question because oftentimes you're faced with a decision where, you know, you may want that functionality of a note taker, right? But you may not have the funds, or it might be a question of affording the device or just knowing where that will fit into your assistive technology toolbox. One of the major differences that I come back to time and time again is when you're using a Braille display with a screen reader, be it VoiceOver, be it, you know, JAWS or NVDA or VoiceOver on a Mac, you are heavily reliant upon that screen reader. If you don't know how to use that screen reader, you will not have success with using Braille because the screen reader itself drives Braille support. So what it comes down to is with a note taker, you're living in a very linear, very Braille first sort of access point, that really, it does, you know, it makes it a lot easier for navigation, and it allows you to get in at an earlier age generally to kind of start working with Braille in a mainstream way. That does not by any means suggest or mean that we shouldn't be using Braille displays with screen readers, because we should. We have to know how to use our computers. But the note taker gives us a linear approach and gives us onboard Braille translation. There are still some things today that a note taker do that we cannot do on a screen reader. So if we think of math, when it comes to creating true visual math for our math teachers, for instance, you know, we can do that on something like a Braille Note Touch Plus and convert that UEB math into perfect print for my teacher to read, so I can turn in my work at the same time as everybody else. That same example would not be doable on an iPad, for instance, not at this point in time. So the note taker still does provide that true onboard Braille experience that allows for linear navigation that is built for a blind person, whereas the Braille display requires you to have working knowledge of the screen reader you are trying to use and the operating system of that mainstream platform that you're trying to use. So you will have to have your your computer knowledge or your tablet knowledge up to par to really make a Braille display work for you if you're using it in that regard.
Thanks for the comparison, Peter. I do have another question for you from one of our audience members, Mifid. Does HumanWare devices support languages like Arabic and English together at the same
It's a
time?
great question. Yes, we do. So we for many of our products, depending on the product, we do have the ability to run multiple language profiles. That would, in the case of Arabic, from Arabic to English, we can, on the Braille product, for instance, on the Braille Note Touch Plus, could run those with language detection. Many of our products, we have localizations in many languages around the world. And we also, on the Braille side, can run many, many languages in terms of reading and writing. So any of the Duxbury or LibLouis Braille tables we're able to utilize on the Braille Note Touch Plus, so we can run reading and writing in a very, very wide myriad of languages. In terms of localizations, that would be a little bit lesser, but we can certainly address if there was something specific. But Arabic is absolutely a language that we support and we have localizations for as well.
Thanks, Peter. And does that also apply to low vision products too, like the Reveal 16 and the Kinect 12, Natalie?
Yes, we do support around 20 languages. So it is possible to use more than one language at a time. If you're in a culture where you have two languages, or if you're in a culture where you're learning a second language, it's easy to have both languages on your units, on the Kinect 12, the Reveal 16, 16i, for you to be able to jump, let's say, from English class to French class.
Cool. Thank you for that. Question for you, Natalie. Some people might think that it's too much of a challenge to learn how to use a new product. What would you tell them as a product manager or an
Yes, well,
advisor?
yes. Visual aid products are very intuitive. When you take the time to evaluate your tasks, your needs, and the activities that you will do, you can choose a product that meets your needs. On YouTube channel, the HumanWare YouTube channel, you can find a lot of videos on how to choose a product, and also how you can also speak about it with specialists like you, Tony. We've been doing webinars every week, like Peter, I think, said, since March. So you have a great place to find ideas and questions to ask yourself in order to choose a product. So when you're on a go, you can have access to very light products like our Explorer line, Explorer 5, Explorer 8. Those are digital magnifiers that are 5 inches, 8 inches. So they're very light, very easy to carry. If you're a student and you have to go to school, you carry your unit with you from classes to classes or at home, we have Kinect 12, which is a 12-inch pad with the Prodigy suite, which is perfectly suitable for students. So you can have access to digital document, magnifiers for near view, far view. So it is easy to learn and it's intuitive because you know what are your needs and you know how to get to your needs with the product. And we also have a line of product for very young students or children and seniors, people that don't really know how to use applications and computers. They're called the Reveal 16. And we also have the Reveal 16i with all the communication and connectivity, but we have simple product for very young children or seniors who don't want to have all the trouble of computers and apps. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Natalie. Sometimes at school, students are often stigmatized when using assistive technology. What would you suggest to the student, the parents, and sometimes the teachers as well?
Yes. Well, there is a product that we have which is called the Kinect 12, and it is very accepted by students because it's a 12-inch tablet. So sometimes, or in most of the classes right now, people do use tablets and applications to do their homework and this assignment. It is something being taught to the majority of students. So now we can have tools that look like the tools of your colleagues or your friends at school. So the Connect 12 looks like a very cool device because it looks like something that anyone else could be using, but it has the Prodigy suite, which is perfectly suitable for low vision students. So the student has his own tablet at all time. And with the Connect 12, you can use digital format. You have access to the internet at all time. And also in some cases, some students like to have the Reveal 16, which is a 16-inch screen, because they need to have something bigger in order to do mathematics or because of their low vision. So it is a very nice portable CCTV that they can carry from classes to classes. And with the nice device and nice screen, the student have flexibility at school.
Sounds like a great product for our students. I do
Mhm.
have another question from one of our participants in our audience, Renata. Does the HumanWare Body app have information about the Victor Reader stream, and do your products support Hindi language?
So yes, there is a section in on the Victor Reader side of things, and we certainly, the app is it's very fluid. So like anything, we are always looking at creating more and more material. There is a Victor Reader section on there that will have a lot of information. It definitely is fluid. It will be changing. I'm looking always at what we can be doing to increase or kind of make those guides better. But there is information on it. As for Hindi, Renata, I would have to look into that because I don't want to give the wrong answer. I believe so, but I could be absolutely entirely 100% wrong. So I definitely would encourage you to reach out, and we can validate that for sure, because I'm just not positive if we have a Hindi package right now for the stream.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll confirm that for you, Renata.
Yep.
Um, with regards to your HumanWare Buddy app, can participants or users provide feedback as to if something's not working or if there's a crash or?
That is the absolute goal. We want feedback from everyone. We cannot make any of, and really for any of our products. We believe in making the most versatile range of products that we possibly can. We want all users to be included in everything we do. When we're making a product, we want it to work for everyone, which can be a challenge. It can certainly be a challenge. And so when something isn't working right, and the app is absolutely part of that, please submit feedback. You can do so in the app. You can contact customer support directly in the app as well. If you have questions, specific questions related to a product. So that question about Hindi support on the Victor Reader stream would be perfect. If you are on the HW Buddy app and you click the support tab, you can email that question in, and it does not go into a black hole. Those questions are all addressed. So might be a great way to get that answer, but certainly providing reviews on the App Store, feedback is always, always not only appreciated, but very much encouraged. It's the only way we can make the application or any of our products better, is really at the end of the day hearing from our customers.
Great, thank you, Peter. We have another question from Tammy. Tammy has an 8-year-old son who has a Connect 12 at school. However, he has some challenges with the device, and she is asking if there's a contact to discuss the challenges that he's having. To answer your question, Tammy, I would highly recommend that you contact your local Vision Australia office first for us to help you troubleshoot. And if it's something beyond that we can help with, then we can always liaise with our HumanWare partners to help out as well. So hopefully that answers your question, Tammy. I have another question from another participant. John, does the Reveal 16 have a front and back camera?
Yes, the Reveal 16i has 3 cameras. So there's one for close view to look at the books you're looking at. There's a far view camera to look at the teacher, the blackboard, and everything that is far from you. And there's a front camera which has been used lately with Zoom and Skype, because we had a lot of teachers having to teach their students from home in the past few weeks. So with Skype and Zoom, you can have eye contact with your teacher. So there are 3 cameras for the Reveal 16i.
Thank you, Natalie. A question for you. What should be your priority when you're selecting a product to use at home?
Okay, to have a product that suits your need and to have a product that is easy for you to understand and learn how to use it, you first of all you have to evaluate your tasks. So you have to see what you're going to mainly do with your unit. Are you going to be cooking? Are you going to do homework? Are you going to have to send email? Do you need to have access to the internet? Do you need a distance camera to see the teacher, to see far from your desk? Do you need a calculator? Do you need something that works with the electricity? Or do you need to have a battery to have more autonomy when you're far from a wall or the electricity? Also, do you need to read very large books? Do you need to do some painting? Because with some CCTVs, when you're painting on a large canvas, you don't have access to the functions. So you have to look at that too. And you also have to see if you're going to be reading glossy magazines or a kid's book. Because with what we have with the HumanWare product is that our lights and lenses are polarized. So everything that should or that could have a reflection or a blind spot on a page does not have it with the HumanWare product. So we take very good care of kids with their glossy books and seniors with their magazine. Also, before choosing a product, you have to evaluate your need for portability. So, do you need it all only in your house, or are you going on a field trip with it, or you're going to a restaurant? Then you need to have something very small that you can put in your purse and you can carry with you. Do you need something that has a touch screen that you can enlarge as much as you want? So that's what you have to evaluate for the portability. You also have to see if you're computer savvy. Do you need something to connect with your family, internet, a lot of option apps, or you need something that is very easy to use because you don't want to learn all the computer things around it? And do you need technical support? So like I said before, we've been doing a lot of webinars these past few weeks. So you need to choose a product where you can have access to technical support or teaching videos. A fourth point that you have to evaluate is also your need for connectivity. So if you need a unit, the Connect 12 with access to emails, electronic books, the internet, Zoom, Skype for your friends. If you're a senior, you may want to talk to your family with using Skype and the front camera of the products. Do you need Chrome to do some research on the internet or to do some reading? Do you need to communicate with your friends at school? So you need to evaluate what you will need for connectivity. And a last point might be also to evaluate what you will need to do with the files and the pictures you take everywhere. So do you want to have a gallery? Do you want to look at picture on the bigger screen later on? So that would be a fifth point to take into consideration when choosing a unit.
Sure. Thank you for those great answers. Have a question from Kushal. Hope I pronounced that right. What is the pricing of the Braille Note Touch Plus? And I can tell you that. So the Braille Touch Plus comes in 2 models. There's an 18 cell, which is $5,495. That's Australian dollars. And then there's the 32 cell, which is $7,495. If you need more
Tony,
information.
you saved the day on that one because I would have given you the price in US dollars and it would have thrown everyone into a lot of confusion. So I appreciate you stepping in on that on the pricing because yes, the Australian dollars were going to throw me a curveball.
No worries at all. Um, Catherine has a question about batteries. What is available for the HumanWare products that have batteries? I would suggest that you contact Vision Store, and they'll be able to help you with determining whether your product needs a replacement battery that you can replace yourself, or whether that needs to be done by a technician. Another question, which is a very interesting one from Benita. Most of your products connected to the internet, so do they come with their own firewall, or do you have to install some other software to prevent hacking?
So it's a great question. Fortunately for us, we are a fully Google certified partner. So when we release a device, and really our connected devices being the mainstream, devices that can run mainstream third-party applications. So your Reveal 16i, your Kinect 12, and also your Braille Note Touch Plus, those products are fully Google certified, meaning they will work with all Google security certificates. Those will be updated as needed because we're fully Google certified. And the second piece of that is if you are on a network that requires some sort of MDM or mobile device management software, so a lot of times I do work in the schools, and they will absolutely need at times to install certificates or monitor the devices in some way. That can certainly be done depending on the types of mobile device management software that they may be using in that particular school or workplace. But the short answer to the question is yes. It is the products are secure because they're certified by Google, and that is what keeps them up to date and fully certified as we move forward, getting that directly from Google themselves.
Cool, thank you, Peter. Renata would like to say thank you for your answer, Peter, in with respect to why HumanWare was stopping podcast for their, I think that was replaced by the HumanWare Buddy app with all the information.
Yes.
So she'd like to say thank you. Racha has a question. I missed the name of the last product. Was it the Touch Plus? Yes, I was referring to the Braille Note Touch Plus with regards to the pricing.
Yes.
What is coming up in the near future for our listeners, Peter and Natalie?
Love it. So we always have tricks up our sleeve. We tend not to get caught flat-footed. So definitely on the Braille side, on the blindness side, we did just release an update to the Braille Note Touch Plus about a week and a half ago. It brought in the ability to use one-handed mode on the device. So for our friends who don't have the use of both hands, we have brought one-handed operation to the Braille Note Touch Plus, in addition to a full scientific calculator that is going to work in UEB math or Nemeth code, if someone is still clinging to Nemeth code. I know here in the States, many are. That does not mean that everyone is elsewhere. So we fully support both math codes in terms of Braille input. So a full scientific calculator. We've heard over the years that people want to be able not only to work with tangents and cosines and inverse operations, but also to do things like cube roots or work with fractions. And so we've brought that into the device. We've also brought in the ability to use learning tables. So if you have a user who is following a Braille learning curriculum, you can work with the learning tables provided by Duxbury so that you're not completely walled into contracted or uncontracted Braille. Again, this really would apply to a younger, our little Braille readers, or somebody who is newer to vision loss, who is learning Braille and might be dabbling or getting started with contractions. We do have access to a curriculum. We support many learning tables, but the one curriculum we have access to is done through you got it through the RNIB, but it is the UEB Takeoff series. So we do have access to that curriculum. We will be putting that on our website if somebody's in need of a Braille learning curriculum. But that's been a great step forward because we've heard over the years that we have many users who want to use our products as younger Braille readers, but grade 2 is just too much for them, or contracted Braille is just too much for them. This way the user can grow with their device, can use the particular Braille table that might best suit their reading and writing capabilities as they're learning Braille. So that was a major update. And then we absolutely are still working on some things in the very near future. I can say that spotlight a couple of things that are coming in regard to PDF support, also into some new Google secure mail application sort of support that we have not had up to this point, in addition to a massive bucket list. There are so many things we want to bring to the product, and we absolutely can, with the fact that we're running a Android Oreo. We're looking at what we can be doing moving forward, because we can run modern applications. We can certainly update the device as well. So we're looking at newer modern operating systems on the BrailleNote Touch Plus, and then ways to bring that Braille first experience forward. So there is no shortage of pieces on that roadmap. And also I can confirm that even having just released an update last week, we've already got something in the hopper, if you will, that will be launching within the next few months. So we're not taking our foot off the developing sort of gas pedal, if you will. On the Victor Reader side, we have a very exciting update coming to our users of the Victor Reader Trek. That product will be getting the ability to browse maps while you are sitting at home. So one of the neatest things as a blind traveler is the ability for us now to be able to virtually walk around or browse a map without actually needing to walk around. So hearing the types of intersections, turning right and left, walking down the street. And in theory, you can walk from one side of your town to the other, or even to another state or something. But being able to do that offline is going to be wonderful. So map browsing mode will be coming to the Victor Reader Trek with a new map provider. So we're switching map providers. We're going to be moving to a map provider called Here Maps, Here. And the Here maps are wonderful. They're really what is being used in autonomous vehicles and all of that research. So these are maps that are in the real world being used by major manufacturers of cars and other sorts of autonomous transports. And we're able to, we're really, really proud to say that we're going to be using the Here maps as well. So in terms of the future, it's a little sneak peek into some Braille, and then also into what's coming on the Victor Reader Trek. And I did mention the Mantis, so there is also that side of things as well in terms of Braille products.
Excellent. What about low vision products, Natalie?
Yes, so on the low vision product, we launched our latest version of Prodigy last April. So we're always working on more connectivity. We have now the possibility to upload a PDF file from a USB key. We've worked on the audio locator, so people could have better access to our product when they have a very low vision, so they can navigate throughout the application with audio. And we also worked on the readings and the libraries. When we rent books, we can see images of the books as we read them instead of just the text. For the future, we're still looking into having a better connectivity, having a better usage of the Prodigy suite with some applications. So to be able to toggle from one application to a Prodigy suite to add flexibilities for students and seniors.
Oh, thank you, Natalie. Got a couple of more questions from our audience. Peter has asked if does VA have samples to test low vision aids, particularly the HumanWare products, in particular the Kinect 12, and I can answer that. Yes, we do. I will contact your local Vision Australia office, and if that particular office doesn't have a unit, we can always ask our partners at HumanWare to provide a loaner unit for us for you to test out. Brendan has asked questions about the Mantis. Because it hasn't been released in Australia yet, we don't know the full price of it in Australian dollars. And in terms of the other questions relating to the Mantis, I will provide them to you in due course once we have more information, just due to time constrictions that we have with this particular webinar. Kushal has another question. Can you update the Android operating system on the BrailleNote Touch Plus?
Wonderful, wonderful question. So it's now I think there's two parts to that question. One is, can we, right? The answer is yes. The real question there, I think, is when are we going to? And the answer is we are absolutely looking into what can be done on the Android operating system. We run a Snapdragon 820. That's the board we're using from Qualcomm. It certainly supports newer versions of Android, so we're absolutely able to do that. It is something that is front and center on our roadmap. And generally what I ask when somebody says, I really want to go to a newer version of Android, and I'll say, well, that's fantastic and that's great, but why, right? What are we looking for in the newer version of Android that will give us access? If we think about the fact that we're using Keysoft, what is it going to bring? And so we're looking at not only what we're going to be doing with updating it, but really what are we looking for behind the scenes from that Android update. So it's something we're going to be looking into very seriously, and I would not be surprised if there was some movement on that at some point sooner than later. But there's nothing, we're not going to update next month or something like that. But certainly it is a possibility that I cannot wait to come back to a webinar and tell you all about the Android update at some point in time, but not yet.
Thank you, Peter. Another question from one of our audience members, Alison. She missed the name of the products that Natalie was referring to, and they were the Prodigy Connect 12 and the Reveal 16 and 16i.
I also talked about the Explorer 5 and the Explorer 8. If you're on the go, they are very small. Well, they are smaller digital magnifiers.
Oh, thank you for that reminder, Natalie. In the interest of time, we might have a few more questions if there are any more questions from our audience members. No.
Oh,
Well,
we've ran them dry.
it's well, thank you so much, Natalie and Peter, for joining us for this check-in and chat session webinar. It was been great chatting with you. Just thank you for joining us.
Oh, thank you so
Thank you
much,
very
Tony.
much.
And the opportunity it's fantastic. So thanks to everybody for tuning in, and hopefully sooner than later, Natalie or I or both of us will make it actually to see everyone in person, because that would really be the way to communicate with everyone. We need to do some face-to-face with all of our friends down there. So.
Thank you everyone for attending. Due to time constraints, I'm not able to answer any more questions, but if you send us an email, we'll be able to follow that up for you. Vision Australia is currently offering services via telehealth in all states and territories except in South Australia. Appointments are conducted over the phone, via video conferencing, email, or a combination of all. You can contact our assistive technology help desk if you'd like to support in getting this set up for telehealth. Please contact Vision Australia on 1300 847466 or email info@visionaustralia.org for more information and to get started. Recordings for all of our past webinars can be accessed by our webpage, which is www.visionaustralia.org/check-in and chat. We'd love you to join us for our next webinar this Thursday, the 2nd of July at 5 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. And the topic is Finding the Funny Side of Life with British comedian Tom Skelton. Please note that this Thursday will be our final session for the Check-in and Chat series. It was great to keep connected during the past few months, and we hope you've enjoyed the series. We are currently developing other webinars that we hope will be available in the near future, and we'll let you know when we are ready. So please continue to check our websites and your emails. Thank you, everyone.